This is the time and date for small claims matters. We usually do the Mondays at 3 o'clock. Sometimes we have several, as many as 5 to 8. Today we just have one case. Title of the case is Donald and Roxanne Cool versus Stephen Curtis Shelton. Donald and Roxanne Cool are here with me at the courthouse. Mr. Shelton is here by Zoom. We're going to start out with having everyone please raise your right hand. Do you all swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Yeah.
We are in the small claims division of 3B District Court. In small claims, the rules are different than regular general civil court. The claim is limited to $6,500. Neither party is allowed to have an attorney. We don't strictly follow the rules of evidence or procedure. We will allow hearsay and documents without a lot of foundational rigmarole and come to a conclusion. There is no formal record being made of a small claims proceeding. There is no right to counsel and there is no appeal. Any decision made here is final. Either party has the right to remove the matter to the general division of the court, where you could sue for up to $25,000, have counsel, have the right to appeal, and have a formal record. But once we begin here, any decision is final and there is no appeal. Mr. and Mrs. Cool, do you agree?
Yes,
You're ready to proceed?
yes.
Yep.
Mr. Shelton, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right. This case is related, if I didn't call this number, it's file 221734SC. It's a small claims action. The Sheltons are asking for quite a bit of money, $6,375. Portion of it is rent, and a portion of it is damages to the walls in the property. It's related to landlord tenant case 221179. In that case, I made a finding back in October that the defendant owed rent, I can't read my own writing, something else, utilities or something, $550 in court costs for $2,525.65. Here, the Cools are asking for 3 months of rent, August, September, and October of 2012. You show that amount as $1,875. How did you come up with that number?
That was what his rent was.
All right. Now the figure I had is 2,525.65. Was there a security
There
deposit?
was a security deposit and it was mailed out to he had forwarded us his address when he moved out. And it came back, he didn't get a security deposit because there was some damages to doors and windows.
Okay,
And
well,
he didn't get the certified letter, so that was, we took the 500 away from that.
all right. So the amount of rent, now as I said at the hearing, it was 25.65, but all you're asking for now is 1875 in rent. Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't put the court costs from before in there at all.
All right. So you didn't even include that.
I didn't include that, I didn't include the new service because we couldn't find them for a couple months.
All right. So the rent portion is 1,875. Do you agree with that, Mr. Shelton, or disagree?
I disagree.
All right. How much was the rent?
$550 a month.
All right. So 550 times 3 months is not 1875.
I've got the original landlord agreement here that he signed back in April
I've never-
2016.
And I don't have the landlord tenant. Let me see that if you would.
I never
This is
signed an
under the
agreement
last
with them.
We inherited him, he paid, he was $550, but he paid $25 for a storage shed, and he signed it on the back.
All right. So it's 550 plus 25 for a shed. Just leave that right here
Okay,
for a
yeah.
minute.
That included everything.
575
I never
times
signed.
3 is 1725, not 1825.
Well, in the midst of this, it went up, it did go up $50 because we were paying for the utilities and everything, garbage, and they had gotten a $50 increase, but which he never paid.
All right, so they say your rent was $575, $25 to storage. You say it was $550?
I forgot about the 25 for the storage shed.
So do
but
you
yeah.
agree you didn't pay? Where's the claim again? August, September, or October's rent. So do you accept that?
I don't believe that's true either.
All right, tell me about that.
I think I was 2 months behind.
All right, do you have receipts?
I never got a receipt from them ever. I lived there for 7 years and never got a receipt.
All right, well, that's on you. I
Yeah.
made a finding at our court hearing on October 14th that you owed $1875. And that's the figure they used. I also ordered that you to deposit court costs for a total of $25.25. They didn't sue you for the entire amount. They just sued for the $1875 in rent. The figure is actually $1775, so I'm gonna go with that number. Now, the bigger problem is they say you did $4,500 in damage to their unit. And they attached numerous pictures where you or somebody bashed in multiple walls. There's holes all over the place. So
When they
Mrs.
purchased,
Schooler, just a minute, I'll ask them
Sorry.
first. How did you come up with the $4,500 figure?
We had a
for
guy
them?
come in and check the damage out. He asked me, I submitted that too, from Brandon Ritchie Drywall. 4,500, that was a low bid too. Other people have come in and said it could have been a lot more.
I didn't find that estimate in my stuff, so let me look.
I have a copy of it right here, and I sent it.
All right, let me see that too.
It was
It's
in the
probably in my
packet.
online version here. All right, so they got an estimate that it would cost them $4,500. Broken window and screen, broken kitchen door.
No, that was from the, that was from
That
his
was the
deposit.
original 550.
That was from his deposit that he lost.
Okay. And then where's the estimate regarding the drywall?
It's right there.
No, I don't. you didn't get it to me.
That's the letter that you did here. Okay, that's the letter that went through. Okay, this thing, I'm sorry. I thought I had the packet.
Well, let me look here online. Brandon Ritchie drywall. Good drywall people are hard to find.
Mhm.
Exhibits. The judgment. There's the quote. It is here. It was behind the judgment, so I did have it. All right, now the pictures. We don't have the ability to really share them very well, but Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 50 or more holes in the wall. What's your response to that, Mr. Shelton?
When I moved in from Daryl Osborne. I originally rented from him. They purchased it after 2 years of me living there, and they never came in the apartment until 2 months before I moved out, when he tried to raise my rent to $850 or something like that, $875 from $550, $575. And the reason I got the apartment for as cheap as I did is because there was damages. A couple of the holes were from me, but not all of those holes.
All right, you have a fundamental problem. Certainly somebody bashed all the walls in, but you don't know what the property looked like when you bought it.
I did because I was in there and there's
All
a
right,
couple
well, let's
times
talk about that.
They never
So,
came
he would
in.
never answer his
all
door.
right, when you purchased the property from Daryl Osborne, did you ever go into it?
Yes,
When did you buy it?
we bought it in 2000, I want to say 2017, 16, or 2018, around that time frame.
Mr. Osborne had this building for years and he had lots of issues with it, but there's several apart. This is the big brick one, right?
No, this is not the brick one. This is the
Okay.
one that sits in the back. And what happened was a couple times his mother let me in. and,
Mr. Shelton's mother?
Yeah,
let you in?
we in, and I had witnessed the holes, but she had told me that he had several girlfriends and she was kind of embarrassed because they fought a lot and there was a lot of holes. The door was kicked in, the windows were broke on a couple occasions, but he was never there to really let us in. He'd always meet me at the road. I offered to give him receipts and he would never take a receipt from me either. And he was always late on his rent. But, I just.
Well, there's a problem. Let's assume this damage happened before you bought it. That's Mr. Osborne's problem, and you bought it as is. When are these holes new?
These are new holes.
All right, so you went in there and it wasn't, these holes were not
First time
there?
before we bought it, he showed me a visual of it. We went in there and there was no holes in there.
All right,
They
so
never came
when you
in.
bought it from Mr. Osborne, you went in and inspected it?
We looked at it.
Your
He opened the door. I didn't want to go in without his stuff in there.
Your Honor,
But there was he had stuff all over the wall. He had cast iron pans. He had all kinds of shelving and stereo equipment. And then when he moved out, it looked like he appeared to try to patch everything up because everything was, Daryl had everything, green in there and everything was, he looked like he went in there and, like I said, try to plaster it and fix it. And
All right, well, I will assume that the quote to repair this, $4,500, is legit. It looks like mucho damage, and drywall repair can be expensive. The couple of questions: A, did this defendant do it during his tenancy? And B, was it already there when you bought it? We can't tell what is and what isn't. Mr. Shelton, how did all these holes get in the walls?
the patches were from the damages that I did, and they're patched. I patched them well, like in the living room, like from nail holes and stuff. I got some spackle and fixed those holes, and the big holes were already there, and they never came in my apartment ever once. And that's absurd that my mom let her into my apartment.
Well, she testified under oath that she did.
yeah,
I understand
So
that.
you just,
that's when I found out they had a wash machine in there too. They weren't authorized to have a wash machine.
all right, well, you inherited this, so,
I know.
but I mean, So you just lived in with all these holes in the wall?
I put like a tapestry over them. I did lots of repairs to the apartment while I was living there. I put a new faucet in the bathroom. I caulked around the shower. I put new tile in the bathroom. I never called them once for any kind of maintenance ever. In the whole
You
time I
did
lived
some
there, I fixed
repairs and I
everything
knocked it
myself.
off your
Stop,
rent.
stop. Only one person can talk at a time. Go ahead, Mr. Shelton. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me?
I never called them for maintenance or anything. I did it all myself. I helped around the yard. I picked up sticks. I weed whipped. I did snow removal, which was supposed to be included. And yeah,
So all these bashed in holes, you just put stuff over them?
yeah.
It was like that when you rented it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Correct. Yes.
So Mr. Osborne rented this to you with all these bashed in holes in the wall?
As soon as the previous tenant moved out, he had the carpet cleaned and said he was going to fix it up. And I said, well, I can move in and not worry about that stuff. And we won't worry about as big as security deposit or whatever. And he said, okay.
All right, one problem is proving it that these occurred after they purchased it from Mr. Osborne. Now, this looks like a nice little apartment. How big is this?
It's about 700 square foot.
What do you rent it for now?
We are not running it right now. We have some other issues that we're testing right now.
You could get more than $550 a month
Well,
for
that's what
this.
we figured out. We figured when they couldn't make the rent payments and they were always late and always excuses. And on several occasions, there was a broken ceiling fan and we put all new shades in there. I knocked the rent off because he put them in there because he never was working. So that's why we decided at the time, there was some other activity going on there with a girlfriend, but that's beside the point. So we decided it was time to raise the rent because the utilities, everything was included in the rent. Utilities, garbage pickup, they had a garden, they had free range of the place.
$550 is a deal if it includes garbage
It
and
was everything,
utilities.
utilities, propane, and they took advantage and then they wanted to put a hot tub in. I said, absolutely not. That's when we decided to raise the rent, when they couldn't even pay their own rent.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, I was in the apartment with his mom though, because his mom lived next door. There was always issues going on over there, but it's done and over with and we're moving forward. So this is a low bit compared to what we could have probably put in.
Mr. Shelton, anything else you want to tell me?
Not really.
All right. I made a finding at the landlord tenant hearing that the rent was $18.75, and that's what they asked for. The security deposit was applied to other damages, so it was not returned. That's not a part of this. So the security deposit is not in here. But I guess I'll call it a tie as to who did the damage and when it was done. And in order to prevail, the plaintiff has to prove it beyond a preponderance. So I find as to the rent, and as offensive as all the damage is, I can't find beyond a preponderance that you did it and that you did it after they bought the property. So I find for the plaintiffs the amount of $1,875. They didn't ask for court costs, but they could have, but I'll just go with what their claim was. Court cost here are $84.17 and $82.15. $2,041.32. Mr. Shelton, do you have the ability to pay that?
Not in full.
Can you make monthly payments on it?
I can do something.
I would request at least $200 per month. Can you do that?
It's gonna be tough.
Are you still working at KP Excavating?
I am.
All right, maybe they just garnish your wages and take a third of it. So if he's not willing to make a payment, I encourage you to do a garnishment.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, okay.
Would you rather do the payment or have them pursue a wage garnishment?
I could do like 150 a month.
Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, if he pays it.
All right, 150 per month, starting April 1st. Now, if you can pay more, if you get a tax refund or you win the lotto or something happens, you can get this over with. I'm not completely convinced that you're not responsible for much of these holes in the wall, but I could not find a preponderance that you've caused them or that you've caused them after they bought it. If it was done before they bought it the way it is, and the claim belonged to Mr. Osborne. It does appear you tried to spackle stuff, but it's been a while since I've seen a place with that many holes in it. The rest of the apartment didn't look terrible, but I'm not sure what the deal was. So by about 1%, I did not find you responsible for the drywall damage. Are you still at the Portage Road address?
I am.
All right, we will send this to you at that address in Vicksburg. Mr. and Mrs. Cool, he's to start making payments at 150 per month, starting April 1st. You pay them directly to them. I would recommend you pay by certified check or money order. You didn't get a receipt for your rent. Make sure you get a receipt by sending it certified or a mail money order at 150 per month. All right. I'll return these 3 exhibits to you. Do you have the other building rented, the brick one?
No, we had to get rid of his mom. His mom.
No, we're not,
Oh.
we haven't rented either one.
And the problem with that is that she had a payment plan. She's not paying, so. We have to garnish her.
Well, it's tough. Are you guys in the Landlord Tenant Association?
We live right across the street.
What?
We live right across, we just built a house across the street.
Oh, but Daryl was in it, I think.
Yeah,
But Terry and Larry Richmond run it, and Larry Kreitz and Sturgis, and they're all over the county, White Pigeon,
Right.
Centerville, Sturgis, Three Rivers. They have an association. They share information, sample leases. They've got some advice. Who would be a good tenant and who wouldn't.
oh yeah, we've learned from this group.
Yes, well,
inherited it.
it's a difficult business to be in with a very thin margin. All right, Mr. Shelton.
Thank you
best of
so
luck.
much, yeah.
But I would recommend it. I meet with them once or twice a year. They invite
Okay.
me to come speak about changes in the law but they try to do it right.
Right.
And